Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with engineer Weng Keong Kong from Malaysia, who has just defended his master thesis inside our specializing master contract claiming delay management in construction works. His thesis is titled Reassessing the Concept of Satisfaction in the Malaysian PAM Contract Form 2018. And we are with him today to know something about his experience in this specializing master.
Right. Good afternoon, Engineer Giovanni. It gives me much pleasure to come to my dissertation sharing on the topic reassessing the concept of the satisfaction in the Malaysian PAM contract form 2018. So first, we started off with the reason, the project rationale for this thesis. It all arises with the increasing, we notice that there's an increasing construction disputes in Malaysia. And basically the main figure in 2023, it came to an amount of 3.5 billion ringgit, which amounts to 751 million ringgit. And this goes beyond, I think, double the figure in the year 2022. So there are 5 sectors. I think there are 5 areas where we show we observe to be the main issue. And first is the growth in the construction activity. So what happened is that after the COVID, there's an increase in the construction activities in the country. Second to that is the economic fluctuation. So like many countries, again, after the COVID, many materials have got to increase the price. Number 3 is that I think soon after the COVID, it seemed to be a new trend in having the increased confidence in arbitration. Number 4, we see that the disputes tend to be more complex than usual. What happened is that after the COVID, there are more and more high-end, high-technology buildings that are seen in Malaysia, and this gives rise to complexity of the issues. Number 5 is that we see that there are more and more legal and policy implications, and this gives a void in the regulation of the contract that needs to be met. So there are 3 research objectives versus the research question. Number 1 is that we want to conduct a comprehensive analysis on the determination and the application of the term satisfaction within the PAM contract. And by doing so, we want to know how the contracts actually satisfy the architect's quality, construction speed, and compliance with design expectation. The second research objective is to conduct an in-depth review of the applicable definition and respective scopes. And by having said so, we want to know how much the architect's discretion would be over several duties that includes the certifications, payments, extension of time, and contractual compliance. The third research objective is to ascertain the influence of the subjective term and its outcome and its role in the application proceedings. So by having to set such an objective, we want to know how the lack of the clear standards for satisfaction can give rise to many problems that relate to interpretations, misunderstandings, and disputes between the contractual parties. So here we are using a case study to first explore the entire case in a very specific context. Number 2 is to understand the real-world impacts. Number 3 is to identify the flexibility in using multiple data sources. I think by having a case study, this is where we can use the contract documents and clauses as a primary sources. And second to that is that we can have a very interesting interviews with the construction professionals, lawyers, or even arbitrators to understand the context even better. And the fourth portion is to identify whether the terms satisfaction is subjective versus objective, and how it has the implication versus claims, payments, or even the performance assessments. last but not least, we also want to see how it relates to the policy and practice. So here is our research roadmap from stage 1 to 9. So stage 1 to 5 basically are all shown, displayed in our thesis. That includes chapter 1, introduction to define the objective and questions. Chapter 2, literature review, to review the existing literature so that we can identify the gaps. Research 3 is to look into the, chapter 3 is to look into the research methodology. Chapter 4 to look into the data collection and also the data analysis. And finally, we present the chapter 5 conclusion to develop the findings and recommendation. So, of course, we have to review several times before our final submission. So the case study started off with this company by the name of Telford Engineering, M Limited. The project basically consists of a 2-story production facilities, that office building, and also one number of substation. The contract value is about euro 12 million, and type of contract, lump sum. We have 24,000 meter square built up construction area, and the duration lasts for 46 weeks. So the contract was signed on the 2nd December 2021, which consists of 2 phases. Number 1 is to complete the construction of the production factory on the 15th of August. Phase 2 is to finish the construction of the corporate office on the 14th December 2022. So basically, the case study looks into this project, which consists of 2 phases, as explained earlier. So phase 1 will be shown in green. Phase 2 is shown in red. So the project issues, we have identified 5 project issues. Number 1, that talks about the design modification and structural revisions that lead to the delayed commencement of the work. Number 2 is also the delayed payments. What happened is that in the PAM contract, basically the allowed timeline is 30 days, no more, and the payments were made more than 60 days after. And number 3 is there are also some discrepancy over the quality that result to the certification delays. Number 4, I think towards the end of the project, they have actually withdrawn the nominated subcontractor. Number 5 is that I think there was a delay in responses to the EOT request, which exceeds over 30 days after writing in to the contract administrator, who is the architect in this case. So, of course, I think ultimately these 5 factors also contribute to the suspicion over the conflict of interest or concern, because we got to realize that the architect is an relative of the client. So in this case, we have used the qualitative approach, that's to adopt the semi-structured interviews that we carry out with the construction and legal professionals. Basically, is to understand and capture the diverse perspective on what satisfaction is all about. And we also use the results from the interview. And interestingly, we have come out with, we have managed to receive both the qualitative and quantitative results, at the end of the finding.
Hey, excuse me, in this brief interview, we have not the time to go through the whole presentation. Although it's quite interesting, I think that you have shown the case study and the goal of your master thesis are now clear. I would go to the conclusion so that you may present what are the main conclusions from your master thesis.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Giovanni. So, so I will go fast on the result findings. So these are the result findings, right? So we have managed to get both the quantitative, which involve the figures, and also some qualitative results. So this is the result that we have managed to get eventually. I think first we talk about the impartiality that disputes. So of course, I think for every contract, we need to have a very good transparency. And in this case, I think the architect and the client relationship should be announced, and it should be declared, to the contractor before the construction project commencement, so that everybody is ready for a thorough decision making. Number two is that we got to understand that the ADR, the alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, are very critical. Basically, I think it would come into place, in the case of Malaysia, that when the impartiality is lacking. In this case, there's a huge amount of evidences that we can see that the impartiality is not in place. And this is why I think ADR becomes very important. And number three is that I think to overcome the impartiality, independent oversight is very beneficial. We need a third party to make sure that everything is objective rather than to be subjective. Number four is that delayed EOT responses are also often linked to disputes. I think one of the key reasons is that because all these EOTs linked to money, right? Number five is that the contract should have a proportional liquidated structures. I think this would help to improve the compliance as a whole.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So we have come to the last part of the presentation. That is the conclusion of the findings. Number one is that we got to realize that the PEM contract has allowed the architects too much power in determining the project satisfaction. And again, the satisfaction could be very much based on personal judgment rather than objective benchmark. And number two is that we come to realize the problem of ambiguity. So in a contract, normally we don't see a clear performance criteria. And so in this case, we have disputes over the floor flatness. So, from the perspective of contractors, floor flatness can be a minor issue but the architect can see them as barriers to get to completion. So again, another word, completion, is a very objective finding. So number three is that the delays and the extension of time issues have come to surface that this architect has not replied within 30 days, and this gives rise to the argument over time at large contracts. Number four is that I think it'll be good, for all the contracts, not only restricted to PEM contract, but also FLliC and other worldwide using contracts, to have more objective standards to benchmark the performance of the builder. So number five is that I think in the contract, there should be a declaration of the architect's relationship, to the family. And in this case study, we got to realize that, there were some family ties between the two parties. Again, there is a challenge over the trust and also the contract integrity. Last but not least, what we get to realize is that the contract lacks specific guidance on conflicts of interest. And while these architects are expected to self-regulate, I think we need more transparency and formal conflict disclosures to ensure that the fairness is in place.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, you have done, in my opinion, a very good job with your master thesis, perfectly in line with the topics of your specializing master. Therefore, congratulations again. My wish to you, of course, is that the professional tools and the information this master has provided will go on being useful for your professional career in the future.
Thank you, Engineer
Thank you very
Giovanni.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.